Welcome back. In this video we're going to be talking about risk. We're going to be talking about how to take a risk-based approach when you're looking at both your GDPR and information security compliance programs, why it's really important to take a risk-based approach, and obviously what the benefits of doing that are. As always, if you find this video useful or you find the information of interest, please do give us a like, give us a share, feel free to give a comment below as well. And if you have any questions or there's anything that you'd like us to cover in a future video, please do drop us a note and you'll catch our email address or my email address at the end of the video. So what do we mean when we say a risk-based approach? So a risk-based approach to compliance with GDPR, compliance with information security, and compliance with cybersecurity, sort of regulations and best practice, is all around assessing the risk to your organisation from the loss of the information, or from having a breach, or from a misuse of the information that you hold. It also means, certainly in a GDPR context, that you need to be able to assess and understand the risks associated to the rights and freedoms of the individuals whose information you hold. So you're looking at two aspects. You're looking at the commercial aspect, so what's the risk to your organisation, but you're also looking at what's the risk to the individual, so the risk to the person whose information you are holding. And when you're taking a risk-based approach, those are the two things that you need to be considering, and that's what we're going to be talking about today. So how do you take a risk-based approach to compliance with different regulations, and certainly with information security and GDPR? Well, first of all, you need to be looking at things like your privacy impact assessments or your data protection impact assessments, and also your legitimate interest assessments. You need to understand the information that your organisation holds, the sensitivity of that information, and the impact that the loss or breach of that information could have both on the individuals, so on the individuals whose information you're holding, but also on the organisation. So we've talked previously in other videos around confidentiality, integrity and availability. So what's the impact of the confidentiality of that information? Is it special category? Is it medical records? What's the impact of losing the availability, so that information not being available to be accessed? And what's the impact of the integrity of that information being compromised, so somebody going in and changing that information? You also need to look at what's the impact on the actual individual of that information being lost. So what's the risk to their rights and their freedoms? So those are the two things that we're looking to balance here. Once you've understand that, and you understand the information you hold and the impact that that can have on somebody, you then need to understand what those commercial impacts are. So how important is that information to your organisation? And once you've understood those things, you can then work out what controls you're going to put in place, how much effort, how much money and how much of your budget you're going to allocate to certain systems and certain pieces of security, and things like encryption, data management, network segmentation, sandboxing. How are you going to proportion your money to make sure that the money your organisation is spending is appropriate to the risk that is going to come from losing or having a breach or not having access to the information that you hold. And that's why we say that taking a risk-based approach is really, really important. So what are the benefits of taking a risk-based approach to compliance in these fields? Well, the benefits are huge. Small organisations don't have massive budgets, but you can be a small organisation that holds incredibly sensitive information, which means that you need to make sure that you're assessing the risk appropriately and apportioning your budgets to those things. What we very often see is that organisations sometimes go compliance crazy, and they'll put in loads of controls, loads of system applications, loads of structures and processes and controls to protect their organisation from information loss. But what they then actually do is end up constricting the organisation so much that it then can't actually do anything commercially, it can't actually operate effectively. So over-compliance is an issue as much as under-compliance. The benefits of having a good risk-based approach are that you will have the appropriate technical and organisational measures in place. You will be budgeted accordingly to deal with those issues and to make sure that you have the right systems and controls in place. And by doing that, you will reduce the risk to both the individuals plus the risk to you as an organisation. What you don't want to do is end up, as I say, having controls that are so strong that people circumvent them or move away from them to enable them to be able to do their job. But what you do need to do is make sure that you understand the impact that your organisation can have on individuals and the loss of the data that you hold can have on your organisation, and make sure that you're budgeting accordingly to make sure you've got the right resources, the right technology and the right solutions to protect the information that you've got in the most appropriate manner. There's a great deal of things that we can talk about in terms of risk. Again, it's not something that we can cover in a video like this. If you do have any questions in how a risk-based approach could be effective for your organisation, then as always our website is across the bottom of the page. If you have any questions or there's something again that you'd like us to cover in these videos, please do drop me an email and you'll catch my email at the end of this video. But we look forward to seeing you next week.